Hello everyone, my name is Martha Law, and I'd like to welcome you to my presentation on adjustment disorder. In this presentation, I'll go over the key factors that identify this condition, how it differs from other trauma and stress-related disorders, and why specifiers and modifiers are important in the diagnosis process. The DSM-5-TR classifies adjustment disorder as a trauma and stressor-related disorder. It happens when an individual has emotional or behavioral symptoms in response to a clearly identified life stressor, such as losing a job, being divorced, or even relocating. These reactions are deemed out of proportion to what would normally be expected of the scenario, and they create a visible anguish or impairment in daily activities. Let's have a look at the key features that identify this illness. First, there must be a specific stressor that causes the symptoms. Second, the emotional or behavioral response must occur within 3 months of the stressor. Thirdly, the reaction produces severe distress or impairs performance at work, school, or in relationships. Finally, the symptoms usually go away within 6 months after the stressor or its repercussions have passed. For example, if a person becomes severely unhappy and frightened after losing a job but recovers once they find new work, this could indicate an adjustment disorder. The DSM-5-TR states that numerous criteria must be met to diagnose adjustment disorder. Emotional or behavioral symptoms emerge within 3 months of a known stressor. Given the circumstances and the cultural setting, the reaction is stronger than one might expect. Other mental disorders such as major depression or post-traumatic stress disorder do not better explain the symptoms. And the sorrow is not just ordinary grief. Finally, once the stressor has disappeared, symptoms do not last more than 6 months. This makes adjustment disorder a temporary disorder. It's critical to understand how adjustment disorder differs from other trauma and stressor-related disorders such as PTSD or acute stress disorder. The stressor in adjustment disorder might be any major life change such as a breakup, financial difficulties, or moving away from home. In contrast, PTSD and acute stress disorder require exposure to a life-threatening or violent event. People suffering from PTSD may experience flashbacks, avoidance, and hyperarousal, which are not signs of adjustment disorder. So the fundamental contrast is that adjustment disorder is characterized by problems adapting to a stressor rather than re-experienced trauma. Specifiers and modifiers are extremely important when diagnosing any mental disorder, including adjustment disorder. They allow clinicians to describe the specific presentation of the symptoms, which help guide treatment and communication. The DSM-5-TR includes several specifiers for adjustment disorder, with depressed mood when sadness or hopelessness is the main feature, with anxiety when nervousness or worry dominates, with mixed anxiety and depressed mood when both are present, with disturbance of conduct when the main issue involves behavior such as aggression or rule breaking, with mixed disturbance of emotion and conduct when both emotional and behavioral symptoms occur, and an unspecified category used when symptoms don't fit neatly into one type. Identifying these specifiers ensures that treatment is individualized. For example, therapy for anxiety might differ from therapy for conduct problems. The prognosis for adjustment disorder is generally favorable, particularly with timely assistance and therapy. Individuals with robust social support systems tend to recover faster. However, chronic stressors or a lack of coping skills can exacerbate symptoms or lead to additional diseases such as depression or generalized anxiety. Common treatment options include cognitive behavioral therapy, which helps clients reframe negative ideas and develop coping skills, as well as stress management or problem-solving therapy. In some circumstances, short-term medicine can help relieve severe symptoms. Supportive counseling and family therapy can also aid in healing. In summary, adjustment disorder is a stress-related condition that develops when a person struggles to cope with a major life transition. It differs from other trauma illnesses in that it does not include the re-experience of a traumatic event, but rather a maladaptive response to stress. Understanding and applying specifiers promotes an accurate diagnosis and allows clinicians to customize the best possible treatment strategy. Early detection and action can significantly lessen the likelihood of the illness progressing to something much more serious. Reference for these videos are American Psychiatric Association Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, 5th edition, the Burstein R. and Jacobs E. DSM-5-TR Overview, a quick study reference guide, and the Psych Hub, What is Adjustment Disorder? YouTube. And then lastly, Med Simplified, Adjustment Disorder, Everything You Need to Know, YouTube. Thank you so much for watching and listening to Adjust to What? Created by Martha Law.